watched it live. And because, of course, when you're emotionally invested and you're watching it and you're trying to have a pragmatic mindset, you're looking for all the different opportunities to score. And of course, my bias was towards Fury, who behaved in his usual dignified way both before the fight and after the
In a rematch that was highly anticipated, Alexander Usyk once again emerged victorious, solidifying his position at the top of the heavyweight division. Tyson Fury, on the other hand, appears to be spiraling, with growing concerns over his future in the sport. Simon Jordan, a longtime supporter of Fury, expressed his deep frustration with the outcome of the fight, acknowledging Usyk's skill and resilience in the ring, but emphasizing how difficult it is for Fury's fans to accept his second consecutive defeat. Jordan warned that this loss could have serious consequences for Tyson's future, casting a shadow over his career. Jordan made an interesting analogy, pointing out that in Tyson's previous battles, there was always a certain fire within him, a spark that was noticeably absent in his rematch with Usyk. He compared it to Fury's comeback after nearly losing to Deontay Wilder in 2018, where he entered the ring in their next fight with renewed anger and determination, ultimately securing the victory. He says, when a fire is lit, it can transform something that was broken before.
Well, in the world of boxing, for me, I think it's good time for him to finish the career and to focus on some other sorts of things that he can do in his life, because he's a successful man.
What's next for me? I'm going home, having some time off, for sure.
When the fire is lit, this surge of confidence, however, seemed to be missing in the rematch with Usyk, where Tyson appeared as a mere shell of his former self, holding onto his last ounce of fighting spirit. Simon also noted that Tyson seemed to have lost his passion for the sport, further fueling concerns about his future. He pointed to Fury's increasingly strange comments, claiming he was the rightful winner of both bouts with Usyk, accusing the judges of robbery. Jordan criticized these remarks as delusional, suggesting that they were damaging to Tyson's legacy and could harm any future prospects he may have had in the heavyweight division. According to Simon, Fury's post-fight behavior and attitude have made him a less appealing option for major contenders and promoters, leaving him without much to offer the boxing world moving forward. With Tyson now 36 years old, Jordan doesn't see a future where Fury will reclaim his spot at the top of the division.
You might do, you might not do, who knows? We'll talk about that next year.
You said yourself, I'm coming to destroy this man, I'm going to put him in a hurt locker. Bullshit. You didn't do that. You got outlanded with much better shots conclusively in 10 rounds.
The prospect of a showdown with Anthony Joshua, which has been discussed in recent months, doesn't seem to excite Jordan. He believes that even if the fight happens, it will be a battle between two fighters who have both suffered recent losses and are now viewed as former stars seeking to revive their careers. In Jordan's view, this fight would no longer hold the same intrigue it once would have, and the fighters involved would simply be seeking one last chance at regaining lost prestige. Jordan ultimately advised Tyson to walk away from the sport while he still has some dignity left, suggesting that continuing to fight would only further tarnish his legacy. With Fury's future uncertain, it remains to be seen whether he can regain his form or whether the defeat to Usyk marks the beginning of the end for his storied career. Notable boxing analyst and reporter True Geordie shares the growing sentiment that Tyson Fury's career may be over following his recent bout with Alexander Usyk.
There was something missing from Fury. Didn't seem to have that same eye of the tiger.
I try to look at things. I always try to look at what's going on with people. And I remember watching him come in previous fights when he comes in like, Spartans comes in, and he came in against Dillian Whyte in that Wembley clash when he comes in and runs.
Geordie pointed out that many fans and analysts have been overestimating Tyson's abilities. But after his performance on Saturday night, it became evident that the passion and drive that once defined the Gypsy King are gone. According to Geordie, Tyson now seems motivated more by fear and anxiety than by the thirst for greatness that once pushed him to dominate the heavyweight division. He believes that a fighter's true strength lies in their love for the sport. But Fury no longer seems to possess that desire, instead focusing on selfish, financially driven goals. Geordie was particularly critical of Tyson's decision to gain weight for the fight.
Fury's outburst before the fight, which I thought was unpalatable, but it goes with the territory sometimes.
Yeah.
I think the fact that he loses the fight and doesn't see it that way and talks about it, he accepted in the build-up that he lost the first fight. Now, for his version of events, he's now won the first fight and won the second.
Suggesting that Fury's decision to bulk up in hopes of gaining an advantage in the early rounds backfired spectacularly. Instead, the extra weight only slowed him down, making him more vulnerable and clumsy than in previous bouts. By the later rounds, it appeared as though Tyson was on the verge of giving up, further reinforcing the idea that the fire had gone out in the former champion. Jordy also expressed his frustration with Fury and his team, accusing them of creating a false narrative in an attempt to deceive the public about the outcome of the fight. He stated that there are no more excuses for Tyson after his failure to back up the bold claims of dominance he had made leading up to the match. Reflecting on Tyson's future, Jordy suggested that it would be best for the fighter to hang up his gloves and retire from the sport, especially after the poor performance and the sour attitude displayed in the aftermath of the loss. Jordy also spoke in praise of Usyk, who, despite being undermined by the media,
to go the path he went down, the path he went, decided to fight Ngannou, decided to fight Derek Chisora. Neither one of those fights prepared him for Usyk. He's reaped the whirlwind of it. And so looking at it, no, I don't.
Has proven himself as the greatest heavyweight of this era and the best pound-for-pound fighter. Jordy believes that Usyk has accomplished everything he set out to do, and that now would be a good time for him to retire and enjoy life with his family, as there are no new challenges left for him in the division. Promoter and manager Alex Krasik echoed similar sentiments about Usyk's future, but with a slightly different perspective, acknowledging that such a decision should ultimately be made by the fighter based on his emotions and how much more he has left to give. When it came to Tyson Fury, however, Krasik was less certain. While he respects Fury as a fighter and wants to see him continue, Krasik suggested that it may be time for the British boxer to take a break, especially given how defeated and lost he seemed after the fight. Krasik stressed that being in such a mindset is not healthy for any fighter, and pushing on just for the sake of money and fame could do more harm than good.
I don't care. I understand why people want to see it, and I get it. And I suspect if it were on, I'd probably watch it. But am I clamoring to watch Fury versus Joshua in a fight that has no meaning behind it besides bragging?
1753. Krasik also reflected on Tyson's legacy, stating that despite losing his coveted belts and undefeated record, Fury is still regarded as one of the greatest heavyweights of his generation. His impact on the sport, particularly in inspiring young fighters to take up boxing, is undeniable. Therefore, Krasik believes that if Fury were to announce his retirement now, it would not be a blow to his career. Sighing heavily, Mito turned his attention to the fight. In fact, it might benefit him by sparing him from further grueling training camps and allowing him to spend more time with his family. Though Krasik seems to support Tyson's possible retirement, he did not rule out the idea of a trilogy fight between Fury and Usyk. If a substantial offer were made,
so many of them have been exposed by these two fights because of their bias towards Tyson Fury, because the amount of absolute I've heard throughout these last two fights around the coverage of both of them. When you've won all of those belts and you've had all of that money, are you really willing to risk being humiliated like?
Especially from figures like His Excellency Turki Alik and the opposing team, Krasik said that they might consider accepting the challenge. However, given that Usyk has already proven himself against all the top names in the division, including Fury, it remains to be seen if there are any more meaningful challenges left for the Ukrainian fighter. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, once hailed as the most formidable fighters of this generation, are now facing uncertain futures following Fury's recent loss to Alexander Usyk. While there had been talk of a potential blockbuster Battle of Britain between the two British giants, as well as a highly anticipated trilogy fight between Fury and Usyk, the outcome of Fury's recent bout has left many questioning the viability of these plans.
What's the greater emotion in you? The desire to win the belts or the fear of being knocked out? And at this point in Fury's career, in my opinion, the fear of being knocked out was greater than his desire to win the belts, and that's why he fought the fight he fought. He didn't...
His Excellency Turki Alik, who had been vocal about his desire to orchestrate a grand spectacle featuring Fury, Joshua, and Usyk, appeared to pull back from his initial enthusiasm after Fury's second consecutive loss to the Ukrainian champion. In pre-fight interviews, Fury had expressed his determination to make the fight between himself and Joshua a reality, claiming that after dealing with Usyk, he would focus on the lucrative and thrilling matchup. However, after the defeat, Turkey and his team, including Joshua's promoter Eddie Hearn, have started to reconsider their next moves. Hearn had previously been adamant about pushing for a Fury-Joshua fight, believing that it could offer both fighters a shot at redemption and a massive financial payoff. While both sides had shown interest in making the trilogy fight with Usyk happen, the outcome of Fury's latest performance has cast doubt on whether these plans will come to fruition. In a recent interview following Usyk's unanimous decision victory, Turkey refrained from giving any concrete answers regarding a potential third fight between Fury and Usyk, instead indicating that his focus would shift to other bouts that could generate more hype and profit.
Outside of that weight gain did nothing to help him here. It made him worse. His punches were slower as the fight went on. His punching accuracy looked...
This shift in focus, combined with Fury's disappointing performance, has led to speculation that retirement may be the best option for the 36-year-old fighter. Tyson's loyal supporters, who once believed he could continue chasing fame and fortune, may now be coming to terms with the idea that pushing forward could risk damaging his legacy irreparably. In his post-fight interview, Fury gave a cryptic response regarding his future, acknowledging that while he hasn't made any definitive decisions, his chances of stepping back into the ring in the near future were slim. Despite his undying dream to continue, Fury admitted that back-to-back losses against the same opponent were disheartening and could have a lasting impact on any fighter's mindset. Tyson reflected on the nature of his career, emphasizing that every fighter, like everyone else in life, is always striving for something meaningful and fulfilling. He stated that, while he didn't want to give up on his dream just yet, the time would come when he would have to step away, only when the fire within him truly burned out. Promoter Frank Warren, who has been a steady presence in Fury's corner, also weighed in on the fighter's future, suggesting that the best course of action for Fury now would be to take some time off. Warren acknowledged the toll the past few months had taken on Fury, particularly the grueling training camp leading up to his second loss to Usyk. Warren stated that after the defeat, Tyson needed a break from the intense media spotlight and wanted to focus on spending quality time with his family, whom he had been separated from due to the demands of his training. As the dust settles on another chapter of Fury's career, the future of British boxing's biggest names remains uncertain.
Sloppier due to his weight. His feet weren't as good. His fitness wasn't quite as good, in my opinion. I mean, it made him a bit more threatening in terms of his power early on, and I think Usyk had to respect that a bit. But the only reason you put that weight on is if you're going to fucking go for it.
With speculation surrounding a potential retirement or a final showdown with Joshua, the fate of Tyson Fury, once a symbol of dominance in the heavyweight division, is now left hanging in the balance. In light of Tyson Fury's recent crushing loss, speculation surrounding his potential retirement has been rampant. However, Frank Warren, Fury's longtime promoter and close ally, stressed that no pressure will be placed on the fighter to make any firm decisions in the immediate aftermath. Warren emphasized that emotions tend to cloud judgment following such a defeat, and that Tyson's team will respect his space to reflect and recharge before making any final choices. Should Fury decide to retire, Warren made it clear that he would be the first to support the decision, announcing it to the fans on his behalf. He noted that no matter what Fury chooses, whether he wants to continue fighting or step away from the sport, he will stand by his side, stating, "From my perspective, I don't want him to make any decisions or even discuss boxing until he's ready." Reflecting on Tyson's remarkable career, Warren took pride in the milestones Fury has achieved, pointing out that, despite recent doubts about his passion and performances, there is no denying that Fury is a generational talent. Warren celebrated Fury as a two-time world champion, recalling the many epic and historic fights he's been a part of in the heavyweight division over the past decade. He reiterated that Tyson has earned his downtime and deserves the opportunity to rest and contemplate his future. For Warren, the possibility of a high-profile fight against Anthony Joshua remains a viable option should Fury decide to return to the ring. As the boxing world awaits clarity on Fury's future, opinions from industry experts and fans alike seem to suggest that it may be time for the Gypsy King to step aside and make room for younger, fresher talent in the heavyweight division. However, With no official announcement from the Fury camp, the uncertainty continues. With no definitive answers yet, boxing enthusiasts are left to wonder, should Tyson Fury retire? Or does he still have the drive and ability to make a spectacular comeback? What do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.